Let me tell you a story, one that still gives me chills. It's about the Miao people's ancient practice of gu, a form of magic that's said to control people's minds, bodies, and even their fate. And no, this isn't folklore. This happened just 3 years ago to someone I know personally. My college and graduate school roommate, let's call him Joe, worked at an inspection unit in China's Guizhou province after graduation. He was part of a 10-person team sent to a Miao village involved in a poverty alleviation project. The goal was to turn the village into a cultural tourism site. On their first day, the village chief showed them around. On the second day, the team started marking buildings for demolition. That's when an elderly woman around 70 years old stepped in. She firmly insisted that one particular building couldn't be touched. It had once been the home of a Miao king. Negotiations went nowhere. Even the village secretary hinted, many people here still believe in the old ways. Maybe slow down? But the team leader insisted the plan was already submitted. They had to proceed. The old woman finally said, "Fine. If you must tear it down, then do it." That night, she invited the whole team to her home for a meal. During dinner, she brought out a bottle of liquor and poured a cup for everyone. Joe doesn't drink, so he refused, but 3 members of the team drank. What none of them realized was that drink was where the nightmare began. The team returned to Beijing. Soon after, one of the female team members began insisting she had to go back to the village. When asked why, she couldn't explain. She just said she felt compelled. She even said, "If I don't go back, I might die here." The team leader was baffled. He asked around and found 2 others also felt a strange pull back to the village. The woman eventually quit her job and returned. She stayed by the old woman's side, rarely leaving. Then, one of the 3 who drank the liquor hanged himself. He faced southwest when he did it. Another began experiencing extreme anxiety and physical symptoms. In fact, nearly everyone on the team started having issues: unexplained rashes, unbearable itching, allergies, but doctors found nothing wrong. Eventually, they suspected, had the old woman poisoned them with goo during that dinner? The team leader called the village secretary. The secretary replied, "You need to come back." She admits she did something. You need to return to undo it. 4 affected team members went back to negotiate. The old woman was clear, "As long as I live, this building stays. If you tear it down, you will all die." In the end, they reached an agreement. The woman who had returned earlier would remain in the village like a hostage. She couldn't leave. If she did, she would die. She would only be free after the old woman passed away. That was 3 years ago. She's still there. The project eventually switched to a backup plan. But the original team fell apart. One leader died, others fell ill, even those who hadn't drank the liquor were affected. Joe eventually resigned. He now works locally, but every 3 years, he must return to the village to receive an antidote from the old woman. This wasn't just a story about curses, it was a clash between modern policy and ancient belief. The team was just following orders, but the villagers were protecting something they deeply believed in by means beyond our understanding.